Welcome back. Now, the ANC recently suspended Jacob Zuma after he began campaigning for a new party while still a member of the ANC. This move has stirred political dynamics, particularly in Zuma's home province of KwaZulu-Natal, where he enjoys significant support from his time in the ANC. The emergence of the uMkhonto weSizwe party has added complexity to the political landscape, raising concerns for the ANC as elections draw nearer. And joining me now to offer us insights on the rise of the MK party is Professor of Political Sciences and International Relations at the Nelson Mandela University, Bheki Mngomezulu. Thank you so much for your time, Bheki. Now, Jacob Zuma and Cyril Ramaphosa have been at loggerheads for a while. Was this move to actually form a new party by Jacob Zuma expected? And does it maybe conclude that there is a significant relevance that he still has in the political sphere and also with the population of South Africa?
Thank you very much, my sister, for having me, and good evening to your viewers. First of all, you are absolutely right in saying that there have been overt differences between the former president Jacob Zuma and the current president Cyril Ramaphosa. And in my view, state institutions have not assisted in this matter. You recall that, for example, when then Public Protector weSizwe announced that she was going to investigate the Phala matter, immediately thereafter she was served with a suspension letter, and then subsequently she was kicked out. And then just recently you saw what happened to Judge Hlophe, the judge of the Western Cape. So basically, there are a number of instances one can cite to buttress the assertion that indeed these differences between the former president and the current president were bound to lead to something unexpected. So in other words, it was like a timed bomb which was going to explode anytime. Yeah. As for the second part of your question about the political relevance of the former president, yes, indeed. You recall that in 2007, when he became the president of the ANC gained a lot of support, not just in KwaZulu-Natal, but in other provinces as well. So which means that at that time, he was someone that most people looked up to. And part of the reason is that he's easily accessible compared to other politicians. So which then makes him closer to the people, as it were. So there are people who are saying that since he left office, then his popularity has dwindled. I hold a different view. You would have seen that even after he had left office, whenever he appeared in whatever occasion, then you'll find the people showing joy and support. So I would say that the clout might not be the same, but he still has it.
Yeah, very interesting points that you make there, saying that state institutions have not helped in terms of getting Zuma and Ramaphosa to see eye to eye. Instead, it feels like the chasm has indeed expanded. And of course, people will vote for a person that they can relate to, going to the point that Zuma seems more easily accessible. Just talking about, the battle here, is the real battle in KZN? And maybe you're also seeing it in the fact that the EFF and the ANC launched their manifestos there, but also the IFP's presence.
KwaZulu-Natal, I've written an opinion piece saying that if you are serious about winning this year's election, you will ignore KwaZulu-Natal at your own peril. So it's KwaZulu-Natal, and then it's also Gauteng. If you ignore these two provinces, definitely you might as well forget about doing well in this coming election. This is simply because if you look at the numbers in terms of the official numbers released by the IEC, Gauteng is leading the pack, followed by KwaZulu-Natal. So which means, therefore, these are two provinces that are key in this election. And then secondly, if you look at the economic viability of these provinces, similarly also, Gauteng is number 1, KZN is number 2. Some people would have thought that maybe the Western Cape, which the DA always claims that it has done a fantastic job, would be number 2, but that is not the case. It's Gauteng and then it's KwaZulu-Natal. So it doesn't come as a surprise, therefore, that you saw the EFF, the IFP and the ANC, all of them launching their manifestos in KwaZulu-Natal. And interestingly, all of them launched their manifestos at Moses Mabhida Stadium. Why didn't they go to any part of the province? There are reasons for that. If you look at eThekwini, commonly known as Durban, it is the biggest province of the ANC. So anyone who wants to destabilize the ANC would therefore want to make inroads in eThekwini. So that is part of the reason why they opted to go to eThekwini and not anywhere else in the province. There could be other reasons as well. And then given also what is currently happening in the municipality, eThekwini municipality, where the current mayor, Honorable Mngomezulu, has been basically skating on thin ice, as it were, and the DA has been trying everything possible to take him out, but unfortunately for them, they've not succeeded. But basically, political parties are basically thinking that after the 2021 local government elections, where the ANC narrowly won eThekwini with the assistance of Mr. Mavundla of Abantu Boto, the Congress. So they feel that they stand a chance of unseating the ANC. So that is why they've been trying once in a while to remove the mayor and then calling for a fresh election. So that explains then why these parties are interested in KwaZulu-Natal and why eThekwini specifically.
Bheki, I hear your point on Zuma still having popularity with the population, with individuals, but also, as a party, you also need resources and you need business for those financial resources. And I'm wondering if, in terms of political funding, if there could be reservations from business to actually support MK, considering the risks of association with some stuff like state capture and the riots.
My sister, this thing about state capture is one topic that is more serious than people want to believe. People who are less sophisticated will tell you that the reason why we had state capture is because of the former president, which is not factually correct. And they will say that he colluded with the Guptas. You have to ask yourself the question, when did the Guptas come into the picture? Did they come with the former president, Jacob Zuma? Were they brought in by former President Thabo Mbeki? Were they there when then President Mandela was there? So those are the kinds of questions that we should be asking, and then we'll arrive at a better conclusion than the simplified version, which says that Zuma and the Guptas colluded and therefore there was state capture. Corruption is not something new. And in fact, what buttresses my assertion is that long after former President Zuma has left office on the 14th of February 2018, South Africa's corruption index has worsened. We moved from 43 to 41, which then tells you that we are not doing any better. So the question then becomes, can we still blame it on the former president? He was not a saint. Like Mandela himself said that he was not a saint. Nobody is. And most of the ills that are currently affecting the country cannot be associated to just one individual, not even the current president for that matter. He made his mistakes when he assumed this office, and then he started talking about 9 wasted years. I'm one of the people who asked the question, where was he? Was he not the deputy president of the party? Was he not the deputy president of the country? And as the deputy president of the country, constitutionally, you are the leader of government business. So which means, therefore, that while it is true that the former president Zuma cannot be exonerated for state capture because it happened during his reign, I don't hold the view that he can solely be blamed for that because he didn't act alone. There were many other people. Remember that you have the top 6. We have the National Working Committee. We have the NEC. We have cabinet ministers. We have a lot of other people. And then if indeed he is the one to blame, solely to blame for this, the question is, where were they? Would they admit then, if we say this amount to dereliction of duty on their part, if they didn't hold the executive accountable? So those are the critical questions we need to ask.
You've raised some very, very interesting points there, and thank you so much. But unfortunately, we do have to close the conversation. We could talk for 15 more minutes, Bheki. Thank you so much for your insights. Really, really appreciate it. That was Professor of Political Sciences and International Relations at Nelson Mandela University, Bheki Mngomezulu.